Today we're going to talk about the reformer. I'm currently taking reformer certification. I know it's been a little crazy with mass and the pandemic that's going on, but it's something that I need in my life. I have a list of injuries and accidents that have happened in my life. So I do know that a lot of the doctors have told me that I'm just going to have to live with the pain, take these drugs, we'll give you some, a list of things that, some things have helped, some things haven't, but the one thing that I do know that has helped with rehabilitation in my body is the Pilates reformer. So Mr. Joseph Pilates, I feel, was the first physical therapist, and anatomy doctor, really, that knew what he was doing. So I really appreciate him, and I'm going to show you a few things that I do because I do have sciatica. I did break my foot, and so I was in physically great shape when I did. It was back in May of 2018, and I think I have some videos on how to move with the cast and stuff. So once I stopped moving and fell into depression, atrophy set in, and it was really hard to, if you're not moving, it's gonna hurt when you start moving. So let's just say that. You're gonna know it's gonna hurt when you start doing something, but the more you do it, the less it's gonna hurt, and the more you get to do. So don't sell yourself short, yeah? Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is just called some footwork. It's pretty simple. This is called the foot bar. I'm sitting on the carriage. This is the foot plate. I have springs here, shoulder rest, and then these are some straps with the headrest. So I'm just gonna roll on down onto my back, flip around, and I wanna make sure that my knees aren't into my chest like they are. So this is a little tight for me. I am gonna have to readjust the bar. So let me roll down and up. So the bars are really great, easy to adjust, and I'm gonna push it out a little bit further. So when I do come back and lay down, you'll notice that my knees are in a different position. So now I can sit, my knees are directly over my hips, yes. And I have more access to all of the little muscles, including the big ones. So I'm just gonna lay my arms down gently on my carriage, and I'm gonna keep my feet just hip distance apart, using the pads of my feet onto the foot bar. And I'm gonna inhale and just exhale out. And I'm just gonna do this 6 to 10 times and breathe. So I wanna make sure that I'm really engaging my core. I'm using my core that connects to my quads. Also, my pelvic floor is connected. I'm using all my little muscles to stabilize in my legs and my knees. And if you have knee issues, this is really, believe it or not, some really good physical therapy. We have a lot of people that come to Pilates because they have a hip replacement, shoulder replacement, knee replacement, you name it replacement, they're here doing physical therapy. So nice and easy. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna bring the heels together like a ballerina. This is called play. So the heels are together. This is Pilates V. And again, I'm just gonna press out. And I wanna make sure that when I come back, I'm utilizing my legs. When I press out, I'm utilizing all of my core that connects to the legs, my glutes, and I'm controlling the ride back in. So a lot of people just, they're doing this all the time and they're not even paying attention anymore. And really, that's very important. You want to make sure everything gets worked. All the little muscles and all the big muscles are very important. And you want to really slowly bring it back in. Because quality is better than quantity, always remember. So I'm going to open my legs wide. Women will really appreciate this position. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're not a woman. We're gonna press the heels into that foot bar, and again, just sail it out and taking it slow, coming back in. Proper is to have the arms down onto the carriage, but for some reason, I still like to have my arms here, and it kind of reminds me to really keep my hips in line with my rib cage, not to let anything pop, and to make sure I'm really engaging my core. And I'm gonna float it back in. I'm gonna drop down to those toes, and I'm gonna press out. Yay! It's almost like you're going, hip, hip, hooray! and you're jumping in the air. So this is what I call air squats on my tippy toes. Because really, I'm doing squats. But guess what I'm not hurting? My knee injury, my bad knee. Guess what else is not hurting? My ankle, my foot that I broke. Isn't this amazing? So I also, I'm going to bring that in. I also see that Chuck Norris, I had that, I forget that thing that he had. I had one of those. It'll come to me in a minute. Basically, what Chuck Norris did is just take what Joe Pilates did and made it something that you can take home. So, feet are hip distance again. I'm going to work on my legs now. So I'm going to inhale and exhale, press out, and I'm going to drop my heels down and wrap my toes around the foot bar. And I'm just going to hold here for a second, and I'm going to really stretch the back of my legs from the foot to the heel, the shin, the calf, the knees, the quads, the hamstrings, the hip flexors, the IT, the side, you name it, piriformis is all getting stretched. Now I'm going to bend the right knee and I'm going to sink into that left heel. So when I was healing in my broken foot, and I broke the right foot, I noticed once I started walking and doing downward dog again, yoga, switch out legs, ooh, this one it still hurts a little bit to stretch, especially when I haven't stretched it. I really notice in the mornings when I get up, I like to shuffle my feet, and my doctor said that's the worst thing to do, heel toe, because then you're letting all this in your ankle and stuff become atrophied, and then it's terrible. Then your knees get affected. It's just a chain reaction. So nice and easy, I'm going to do what's called prancers, and I'm just going to stretch out those feet and ankles. So what I love about the prancers is when I first started doing Pilates and getting my feet and legs back in working order so that I can walk, I noticed that I developed a new thing called plantar fascia. Plantar fascia is what I wanted to say. That was painful. This time left leg is going to go under that foot bar, and I'm going to hook the top of it on and pull that until my body pulls down into the springs, and I get a nice stretch all the way up into my back hip flexor. Inhale, exhale, release, place left toes down, drop the heel, and I'm going to hook my right foot back and then do the same thing here. And just breathe. So it's getting, and you can do this in the kitchen. If you have a high counter, you've seen people stretch out their back of their Achilles heels and stuff. It's really a good stretch. And then nice and easy, I'm going to bring it on in. Bring those knees in the chest. Whew. So I was on, this is a terrible way to get up, by the way. Don't ever do that. I'm glad I did it because now I can tell you, don't do that. So I had 3 reds on for footwork. Now I'm going to change it to just 2 red springs. And literally, I'm going to show you really quick, literally. I don't know why I use that word all the time. I'm going to show you what the springs look like. Here's a set here on what's called the trapeze. So they're basically springs. Joe Pilates came up with a system when he was helping people rehabilitate in hospitals and they were bedridden. They couldn't move, they couldn't do anything, and he realized that even though they were laying there in the bed, they could still do a few things. So this is how you properly get on and off. My teacher's going to go, shame on you. I did not teach you that. All right, so we're going to grab the big straps, and I'm going to place it on my right foot. Notice that when I was here, there's no way I'm going to get it on my right foot, so I have to use my left, straighten out that left leg, and hook that on. And I just thought I'd do a little demonstration here because really, I said whenever I saw these classes, oh no, I can't do that. And you know, when you say no, you can't, you just really limit yourself. And I know that I've allowed people in my life to limit me all my life, and this is the one place where I know I am not limited. If I am, it's only for my own accord. and baby steps will help release that. So what I'm going to do right now is just some leg lowers. So I'm going to bring my legs nice and long, using my abs, pressing the legs down. And I'm just going to lay. And so I'm using those hip flexors. I'm using my legs. And this is really, abs are always engaged, protect the low back. Now, you don't want to bring those legs lower because you see what happens? I can fit my whole hand underneath here. And now my rib cage is popped. So that's really bad for my hip flexors and my low back. So where do you want to bring the legs? Well, bring them here. Some people can't even bring their legs all the way up because their back of their hamstrings are so tight and their glutes. And that's okay. So you just bring it to where you can. All right? Awesome. Don't forget to breathe. Now, if you have a rubber band, you know those physical therapy bands, or even one of those expansion straps, you can hook it onto your bedroom door, and you won't be sliding back and forth, but you'll be able to pull those legs down and get that movement as well. I mean, there's things that we can do at home. All right, so from here now, I'm going to open my legs wide and swing those legs down. These are called hip circles. So before, because I do yoga and I'm very flexible in the hips, again, don't pop the ribs. I totally feel I just did that, so it reminded me to keep my core engaged and to allow the legs to be controlled by the muscles and not my flexibility. So because I'm flexible, my legs open super wide. And then I'm using the wrong parts of my legs. So I really want to make sure that I'm controlling, not taking them farther than my hips, so that that hip socket joint gets moving and doesn't get pulled out of the socket. Yeah? All right, let's bring it back up. So this is one of my favorite stretches. It's called frog. And sometimes I do things the wrong way, but I'm here by myself, and I'm just doing this workout for me. I'm not doing it to any other reason, just for me. Just to show you what I do in my little physical therapy. So these are just called frog legs, and I'm just utilizing my hip flexors and getting my hip socket. Now, from here I'm going to take it up, and I'm going to bend my knees, and I want to open as wide as I can. Now I want to rotate my knees up and over so that I get articulation in those hips, ball and socket. And again, this is going to be something you work up to. And sometimes my heels slip off. So it's really good to have those toe socks. I'm going to reverse it, which is a little more difficult, and I have to go a little slower because I really have to make sure I'm utilizing the correct muscles. And I'm not going to hurt myself. Whew. Now I'm going to take that left leg off. Find that foot bar. And I'm just going to hook it on my shoulder strap. So from here, I'm just going to do a little stretch. Open that leg out wide. You want to make sure you don't lift that hip off. Even if you're doing a home stretch, you want to make sure that those hips stay down. And if you do this stretch here with the right leg over to the left side, make sure that right hip doesn't raise up. And turn the top of the foot up so you get that nice stretch down that IT side. Awesome, socks. One last stretch here. Ooh. This is a really good stretch from the foot all the way down. So a lot of times people are like, I can't straighten out my leg. It's because these hammies are so tight and your glutes do all the work they don't want to do anymore. So these are called scissors. And again, I really have to watch the control of that right leg. I do have a right knee and left knee injury. I did break my right foot. And I do have a couple neck and back injuries from car accidents and stuff. So, you just do what you can in slow, easy movements. We're going to do the other leg. Make sure my hips are evenly stretched. And this is the side that has, sorry, I wanted to cuss right now, really been aching. So I feel it on the outside of my left leg, on the outside of my shin, almost tingling and numbing. So I do have something going on, pinched nerves. I do have a few discs that are out, bulging. So, one of the things that I do know is that staying immobile is definitely not good for my body. Our bodies were made to heal themselves, and if we don't give it the correct medicine, it's not going to do that. So we really, really have to make sure that we pay attention to our bodies. Just give it a little bit of movement. We almost want to grease our bodies up like the Tin Man. You know what I mean? And really make sure you focus. Just gliding. Nordic track. That's what it was called with Chuck Norris. I had one of those bad boys. Whew. All right. I'm pretty sure I did everything I was supposed to do. Oh, no. Let me show you a really good one that I love. So I'm going to keep the strap on that left foot. It's a little hard for a lot of clients, especially at first when they've had knee replacements and hip replacements, to get into this position. So it's going to require baby steps. But you all are all familiar with figure 4. So this is figure 4 in a strap. So really, as it's coming in here, it's really getting those outer thighs. Ooh la la. And my sciatica. So a lot of times my hips want to turn and I want to fall off. So it's very important to keep straight, keep those hips down, and just, again, you're only going to go where it feels good. Now I'm just going to cross the ankle and let the left leg do all the work, while the right leg just chillaxes and flows in for the ride. And honestly, I know some of these look like, oh my God, is she high? I would never do that. I'm only saying that because I said that. And yeah, sometimes I think I was higher than a kite. Honestly, this studio has been a blessing for me, and had I not, oh my mother in heaven. Woo, okay. This left side has been so tight. This is my side that has made up for my broken leg. My broken foot. So it almost feels like the whole thing is still injured, but it's just been overloaded. So I really have to take slow time with it. Sometimes, we all want to be loved and babied from time to time. So where does that come from? Well, our bodies need that. Think about it. The last time you were cuddled and swaddled and held, were you ever? Do you even remember that? You know what I mean? So it's very important. Oh. Yeah, my left side was like, that's enough. And that is. So I'm just going to take it up and down and release. And then we're going to work on some arms. So I'm a beginner at Pilates. Don't think I'm a professional, this, that, or the other, or anything like that. So people are peeking in the windows to see what I'm doing. It's like, homeboy, what's up? All right. Put those there. I'm going to slide myself back, and I'm going to roll onto the side and roll off. Whew. So So, really nice to get those legs worked out. All right, so arms, you know, especially if you have problems with stiff shoulders and stuff like that, elbow injuries. I hurt my, I didn't break it, I hurt my elbow really bad. I probably did something really bad to it. We're finding out right now. So I'm going to take it easy. I'm only going to use one red spring. So on these reformers, there are 5 springs, 3 reds, a blue, and a yellow. So a blue is half a red, a yellow is half a blue. So it goes lighter to where you don't even have to use springs. But if I didn't use springs, how would I get that? So we need those resistance so that I can come right back, right? So the thing about control is you want to make sure you're not slamming into the base, yeah? So for arms, like I said, watch the shoulders. You'll see me, you know, working my arm. Because of my elbow injury, it comes down to my wrist and up into my shoulder and neck. So I have to move this arm. If I don't, it's going to limit my range of motion, and it gets locked and stiffens, and it's so painful. So there's 2 sets of straps. I want the baby ones. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to line my spine, and I'm going to bring my legs into tabletop. So my arms are just having a light little pressure. You see how easy it is to nice and easy. So I want to make sure my knees stay over the hips, keeping those feet engaged. I'm just going to Frankenstein arms. Remember not to pull your ribs. And I'm just going to bring the arms down. And make sure my shoulders don't go into my ears. And I'm only going to do 6. You do what you can, and then you take a break. Shake out your head, roll out the shoulders. So immediately when I start to do this, I feel tingling in my fingers. So I know that my injury is not happy because I haven't been moving it. So back into tabletop. Bring those elbows down to the carriage. From here, we're going to do some tricep pulls, so we're just going to press those fingertips down. So with my elbow being injured, I'm just being gentle. I may only do 4 of these, and I'm not really pressing the back. My arm doesn't really like to bend too far, so I gotta watch. But I cannot not move it, because if I don't, it'll never go back. It'll never regain what it was meant to do. Nice and slow, drop it down. Wriggle out those arms and shoulders, head. So the next set, you got it, just like the legs, arm circles, Frankenstein arms, legs into tabletop. We're gonna start the shoulders out of the ears, abs are engaged, arms down, out, shoulder, up, down, out, shoulder. So you don't want to just let the springs and the straps pull you. Let's go the other direction. You want to make sure the abs are engaged always. So the abs are the ones that are stabilizing you so that the arms can do free movement. This is the last one. And others. Put my straps back on. And roll off to one side. And so, I'll tell you, my neck wouldn't pop before, and now I got movement in my neck. I have movement in my shoulders, my elbow, my carpal tunnel doesn't hurt that much anymore. I feel that when I do these movements and exercises, because I do have carpal tunnel and the elbow and shoulder injury, neck, you name it, it's very easy for me to baby myself and to not to push myself. And when I mean push myself, I don't mean push myself to the brink of destruction. I'm talking about baby steps. So I'm going to do what's called a thigh stretch, and it is not my favorite at all. it requires 2 reds. Also do 3, or you can cut down to a blue and red, whatever you want. So the reason why I'm going to come around to the side, I'm doing this thigh stretch is because I have really bad low back tightness, my sciatica, so a lot of things can hinder you. And it's funny because I had a friend that had a really bad sciatica, and walking was even more painful because it was better for him to sit because it didn't hurt. But the longer he sat, the muscles became atrophied, and when he got up to move, it was now no muscle, ligament, or tendons to help him get that. Now it's bone on bone, and it's like, hello, of course it's going to be injured. Things are going to go to sleep, and you're not going to have anything. So it's very important to really, regardless of how much movement, just to do a little bit of movement is better than none. Even if it's only like 4 things, who cares? It's a matter of just keeping yourself mobile. All right. So, of course, if you have a knee injury, this is not going to be fun and probably something you should not be doing right away. My knees are a little bit better, so I do what I can do. So again, because I have 2 reds, it's going to be a little stronger in the arms. So what I don't want to do is do this, because then I'm just going to hurt my elbow again. So I'm going to squeeze my pee and gas, pull my pelvic floor. When I say squeeze the pee and gas in, I don't want you to pee on yourself or let out a little air bubble. So I want you to engage your whole core. And that abdominal floor, it's like a basket of fruit. All those little muscles down there, you want to engage that so that you're not like this, right? You want to tuck that pelvic floor in. And we're just going to bring the hands to the side. So if you see, I move the carriage just a little bit. And I'm only going to live here. So from here, I want to make sure, I'm just going to lean back. I'm just going to lean back. Whew. Now, I'm going to slowly come back into center. So what I don't want to see is, I don't want to see this leaning back like that. That comes later. What you want to do is make sure those arms stay at those thighs, and you just lean back because you want to stretch those thighs. Woo. And bring it back up. 2. Woo. And then slowly you can start, coming back a little further. Now, readjust my knees on my feet. Very important to use the tops of your feet. All right, so from here now, we're going to arch. So I'm going to lean back and stretch those thighs. Ooh la la. And then from here, open up the chest, keeping the hands where they are, dropping the shoulders, opening and lengthening, getting that stretch all throughout the front of my body. And then bringing it back. Pain. So when you talk about pain in the ass, pain in the tushy, low back area, it's because these are so tight. They're like so tight, you can't move, and these are doing overtime. It's like I was explaining in my class today. Be an equal opportunity employer. Make sure you use all of your muscles and maybe not just the main ones. So for instance, the glute, what is it good for besides getting big and smacking? All it does is move your leg back. That's it. Back, back. So you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. But really, if you're not doing squats or doing any kind of hip flexor leg movement, you're not going to strengthen it. It's just not. So that's why you see people doing squats. People who can't do squats can do them on here. So again, I just wanted to bring you my little workout here at Pilates Studio in Aspire Wellness Studio in La Havre, our Pilates studio. Thank you very much for watching my channel. I really appreciate your likes, you watching, any comments that you give me, any suggestions you have. I'm still getting my cert, working on that, so I love showing you what I have learned so far, and the changes that my body is making. So thank you again. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and share this video with somebody you know that's really stiff too. Give me a comment. Let me know what's going on. Are you staying safe? All right, peace out. Thank you so much, and have a great summer. I can't turn this off.